Good evening and welcome. My name is Taylor Kingman. As president of the Board of Trustees of San Angelo Independent School District, I would like to welcome all of you who are present at tonight's Preagenda board meeting. We appreciate your interest in the activities of our students and the business of SAISD. All items that will be discussed at our meeting this evening have been posted as required by state law. Also, you may be aware, our board meets a minimum of 2 times per month, and most of the items on our agenda this evening will be discussed tonight and voted upon at our regular board meeting. As members of the SAISD Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from our superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, and personnel appointments, and to make policy for the district. Please keep in mind that our meeting is a meeting of the Board of Trustees held in public and not a meeting of the public. However, we do have a public comment item on our agenda that allows anyone present who wishes to speak to our board team on an item that is not on our action agenda or an action item on the agenda an opportunity to do so. Please provide your name and contact information and the specific topic you wish to address on a public comment form located at the back of the room prior to that portion of the meeting this evening. Please listen carefully and comply with the following rules so we can move through this part of the meeting efficiently. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes. The district will provide an official timekeeper. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. Disruption of the meeting will not be tolerated at any time, and comments on any subject, whether positive or negative, must be courteous and respectful. Comments are limited to the specific topic you indicated on the form you filled out. Any speaker with a specific complaint about a district employee decision or operational issue should present that complaint through the appropriate mechanism, which is the district's formal grievance process. If you have a pending grievance being processed by the district, you will not be permitted to speak about the grievance during public comment. Also, please understand if you offer public comment that the board cannot reply to you except to thank you for your comments, since the matter has not been posted for discussion. I ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. I also ask, as I remind my fellow board members, to please turn off or silence your cell phones. Again, thank you for being here and your support of SAISD. We do have a quorum this evening. Our entire board team is present. And with that, we're going to move forward with our pledges to the United States and Texas. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Next on our agenda is public comments. We have no one who's signed up this evening, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with item number 4, which is conduct our Finance and Audit Committee workshop, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Dendel.
Thank you, Dr. Kingman. We have some reports up front in this meeting, and the first one is our TEA intruder detection audit, and Mr. Walters is going to help us with that tonight. So, welcome, Scott.
Dr. Moran, Dr. Kingman, and fellow members of the board, once again, thank you for your time and your efforts. I do need to let you be aware of, in accordance with TEA and our Texas School Safety Center, that we had intruder detection audits through the month of November. Any findings, flags have been noted, and corrective actions have been addressed by the campus administration.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. We know that some of this is a closed doors because we don't want people inventing new ways to intrude on our schools. So it's great to see that we had no events, and as I used to tell Mr. Kallenbach when he was doing this, that every day without an incident or without a threat is a win for the district. So thank you very much. I appreciate your efforts and your continued efforts in helping keep our kids safe. Next up, we have a construction update, and Mr. Henry is going to help us with that.
Thank you all for having me tonight. Go ahead and jump right on this. First picture is McGill Elementary. This is the new entryway. They've finished all the construction, all the major construction is completed over at McGill. Right now they're just finishing punch list items, exterior landscaping, and they're also working on the intercom system as well on the inside. Here's on the left side, you'll see a picture of the exterior of the old campus near the cafeteria, and we've had them go back and paint the old campus so that it matches the new campus when they're sitting next to each other, so you don't have such a difference in looks. They're continuing to paint. They've laid all the sod down in the front of the campus right out there by Sherwood Way. And they're working on demo plans. We have some asbestos tests tomorrow that we're going to do, and we're hoping to have the building on the ground during the Christmas break and then finish cleaning up as we return from Christmas. On the interior, we still have, we have a little bit of finishing on the phone system and the intercom that we're working on. We are moving into the classrooms. As you can see, the teachers have started moving some of their personal items over. Today, we moved the office over into the main office, and they'll report over there and start holding all their activities over in the office at the new office. Tomorrow, they're going to move to the third grade, and then they're going to move on to the fourth grade, and then the fifth grade on Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll move to the cafeteria and they'll have their first lunch service in the new cafeteria the following Monday. Any questions on Bill?
That's just a quick question. What are the plans for the classrooms that they're moving out of? What are they going to be utilized for?
Most of those classrooms, I believe they're going to use, a lot of them are going to have kids in them, but the middle building has 4 classrooms, so those are going to go away. I'm not quite sure what they're going to use the rest of the classrooms for.
I think we can comment on that. Just say that right now we're pretty tight, and when we move into the new facility, we're going to spread out. So a lot of those classrooms will continue to be used as instructional spaces.
We do have a couple like stuff in. In an elementary.
One question, Jason, is
Sure.
as we move forward with McGill, so students are already moving, or are they going to move in January?
They're going to move tomorrow. We're going to start tomorrow. The third grade will be over there in the new building tomorrow.
Okay, so the students are
Tomorrow
moving
evening.
into the new building? Okay, great, so, all right. And the cafeteria is going to serve
Next month.
next Monday? Okay, all right, good.
What's on the menu?
It's burgers.
Cheeseburger. So if you guys want to have a cheeseburger in the new addition, next Monday's the day.
Yeah, every Monday.
All right, great, so we're already starting to occupy the new building, so we're,
Yes, sir.
okay, all right. I knew that the plan was to move, I thought the plan was to move mid-semester, but that's great if we're already headed that way, ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. Canaan's moving right along. Right now, the main things that they're lacking are all exterior pieces. They've got all the railings came in, and they've got the railings set. Today they were painting them. They're working on some landscaping items. They did mark up all the play court. And then on the right side there, you'll see one of the new gates. I know this was a discussion in the back. This is one of the new gates that we put in. These are the same gates at both Fannin and McGill. They're pretty much like the big industrial metal door with 2 panels in it. Last project that we have going, major project, is the Altaloma Data Center. Abatement for asbestos has already started. They started today. They should finish the first building. It's a 6-classroom building. They should finish it by mid-next week. They already demoed the entire inside of the new data center, which would be the old library and the STEM room. They tore all the ceiling out that they needed to tear out in the STEM room, and all the flooring and everything. They tore a wall out there as well. They'll move them quick. Are there any questions on any of that?
I was thinking that with Charlott's skills that she would have figured out how to do the abatement online, but maybe not. Maybe you still have to have folks on the ground to do that. But yeah, that's going to be a great move for technology too, and it offer them some more room to spread out and not be sitting on top of each other anymore. So that's going to be a project that's going to serve us well for quite some time too.
And when is Fannin, you said?
was gonna be? When are we gonna move into all that, get all that?
Bannon's already moved into.
Well, when are they
where-
gonna be ready, all this stuff?
It should be a couple weeks is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
They've kind of pushed it back a little bit, waiting for some of the railing to come in. They're trying to get it done ASAP.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Henry. Next on board, we have a power school update, and Mr. Cullenbuck's going to help us with that.
In last-minute instructions there, I think. Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, members of the board, we just want to give you a little bit of a preview of something that's coming next summer. We'll be upgrading our SIS, which is our Student Information System, and that is currently it's a Power School product called eSchool Plus. The Power School company has that product, but we'll be upgrading that to the Power School SIS. So you can, do I have a clicker? So it just shows you that. It's within the same company, but the upgrade offers a lot of things for us, including, so number one being better security for our data. It's a huge issue these days in terms of how valuable student data is. One good example is a juvenile social security number is worth like $5,000 on the black market. So we really, and Charlene is even added on her side, but on the data services side, we're always trying to be more secure with our student data. And so moving to Power School offers greater security with protection of our data against a cyber attack. There's all kinds of stories. We don't have time to go into it, but we don't need that. We don't want anything like that. So the better security we have, the better. Number two being efficiency. These are the main reasons for the upgrade. It will reduce costs in terms of maintaining our servers. So Power School will maintain the actual physical servers, so we won't have to keep buying new servers to upgrade those. We won't have to maintain those from a personnel standpoint as well. And then the accuracy, being able to gather information from a whole bunch of different places and then quickly answer questions for those. I've got just a few examples. The main reason that we're sharing this is because this is quite a change. It will change the interface that every employee uses. So every employee in our district will it'll look different. The data services team, though, has planned out trainings. We started to schedule those and get everything planned last May. This change won't go into effect fully until July of this next time. So there'll be trainings for everyone at different levels all the way through the spring and the summer, getting everyone ready for July when it rolls over to use the new. Just a couple of examples, though. Just an example of each one of these in terms of security. If there was something that would happen to the system or the data, Power School then will be maintaining our backups and making sure that they're ready to go so that we can get back up and running quickly. Currently, we have to do that all here, all in-house. We have to maintain all of those backups and make sure that they're stored in a way that we can get back up and running if something were to take our system down. That's just one example of the better security that comes with the upgrade. In terms of efficiency, with them troubleshooting the repairs on the server, that takes us. I don't know if y'all get the district-wide emails when eSchool goes down, but when eSchool goes down, it's not good, and everybody suffers. And so, but our team here has to troubleshoot all that and manage all that on top of the daily work that they do. So this would be Power School, the company managing that, who will be in terms of the SIS. And then another example, so right now to send communication out to everyone in our district quickly, which we do like with safety incidents, and then for other types of communication, we want to send something like to all parents of one school, or we can even send communication to just one grade level at a school. We have to use a third-party platform that has to integrate with eSchool, whereas when we go to PowerSchool, it does that and it makes it seamless. So that's a couple of examples on the efficiency. And then with accuracy with the data, we're going to be able to ask, instead of running like these really complicated, complex reports to get information about students and their progress and things like that, we'll be able to just ask questions and it will give us really accurate data. So questions like, which students need to make up quiz number 3? It'll be able to just spit it out and tell us without having to run reports. Anything that's within the system, we'll be able to ask it questions like that, which is really helpful when we're trying to intervene for students. So like, for example, which students have not yet mastered multiplication of fractions? That might be a question a teacher, a principal, you could ask of anything that's in the data system, and it's going to give you that information so you can very quickly form your groups, get your intervention going. There's a whole lot of examples that come with that, but just a few examples of what we're going to be able to do. We've been with eSchool for, I think, a lot of years, and it's time. It was time probably a couple years ago, but now it's really time to upgrade. And it handles our data from the time a parent registers their child and they put in all the information for registering and they're enrolled. And it handles their student data all the way through to a senior who graduates and gets their transcript. That's everything that's housed right here. So just wanted to give you just a heads up that that's coming this summer. So that you're aware, that's a major, major change for our district. So, questions?
Quick question. So school status, the program that we invested in last year, is that going away?
That decision hasn't been made completely yet, but there are several programs like that we would not have to use moving forward.
And then, okay, but the whole district, regardless of what we did, the whole district would be on the same system as we did with School Status Connect.
Correct.
Get everyone on the same system. And was the School Status Connect a 1-year, 3-year contract? Do you know?
That's a question for 1 year.
Okay.
We've been doing a lot. We've been doing a lot more of those.
Yeah, no, I just want to.
1 year is good.
Because someone will ask later, and I just want to make sure I know. And then we talked maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, about the PEIMS change to the TS.
Ed5.
Yes.
Edify. This interfaces with that. Better. Okay.
It's better than what. It's a lot less work on our end to have to make that connection.
Okay. And more accurate as well.
And more accurate, which is a real challenge. It's going to be a real challenge for the ed.
Okay. Thank you.
So it seems like we're also shedding some of the hardware expense that we've had in the past and going to a truer web-based system where this stuff is off-site and maintained at some data center. That's true. And we're really up for major upgrades on the hardware side if we didn't go this route. So there'll be savings there. We just started a process to evaluate all of our third-party platforms like School Status. We have a number of them to determine if what we're using is better than what it would do on its own, or if they have, like PowerSchool has some add-ins that will do some of the things that we're using third parties for. We're just going to evaluate every single application and have our directors give us feedback on, there might be savings there as well in terms of, we're not adding anything. Okay. We're changing the SIS, and then we would only be replacing things that we don't need anymore. And some of that information is already provided by this new SIS platform, so it'll eliminate the need. It's already included in the SIS program in general, so that is true. It'll eliminate the need for some of the sidebars that we have to integrate into the current system. That is true. There are some things that's all included already that we will not need to have third party, and then there are some add-ins that we may decide to go with that integrate with PowerSchool because it's all one, that we also may be able to
used instead of some of the things that we're using.
More seamless information processing for not only our kids, but maybe our teachers and staff and parents as well.
It's going to, once the learning curve is over of training on it's going to make teachers are going to benefit greatly from what it's able to do. eSchool's pretty antiquated.
Okay.
That might be too strong of a word. It's been around a long time, and because they have this upgrade, they haven't really done much to eSchool to make it better, because this is making it better.
Some promising news as we move forward, so good plan, and we'll make sure you keep us updated on that as I know you're talking about next year, but that's going to be here pretty soon, so
Right.
see how we progress through the summer, especially with training, to make sure that we bring our staff on board as quickly as possible so they're not feeling behind the eight ball when this does pop up on their radar. So some good news.
I'm sorry, one last question.
Yep.
As far as cost, as far as to the district budget over the next 5 years, it's with the servers, et cetera, it's relatively flat? Is it more, like, I know we have to do it because we have to have better security. I'm just curious what the cost point is.
Yeah. So you may want to, Dr. Brandon, maybe more.
I think overall we'll see a savings over time. There was like a $45,000 implementation training fee to make the switch. But then as we move some of the third party out, like today, we demoed one last week, a third party substitute system software that will save $8,000 a year just by switching to the PowerSchool. So over time, we'll actually see not only a savings, but the gained efficiency by making the move.
Love that answer.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully with hardware costs, we'll see some significant savings moving forward, which is going to be good for the district also, with not our staff having to maintain it too. So
we're going to save on headaches
yeah,
as well, which will be great for our staff.
good deal. Any other questions? Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Next up, we have an Education Service Center 17 West Texas Food Cooperative Report. And Ms. Hebert is there. Thank you. All right. Welcome tonight.
Good evening. Board. Just a quick update. We've been a member of the West Texas Service Cooperative for a number of years, and we just recently renewed that agreement for the 25-26 school year. So just to highlight, there's no fees for us being a member of this cooperative. It does partner us together with about 248 other districts in West Texas region. So that gives us increased purchasing power with those cooperatives. Some of the benefits that we've seen as a district department out of this is it simplifies our procurement process for our district. It also increases our product purchasing capabilities because we have a wide access to over 2,000 products at our fingertips. Give time for that catalog. And if we ever go to a food show mid-year, if we were to purchase it as a district, it would take us 6 to 8 weeks to procure. However, with the West Texas Service Cooperative, they're usually one step ahead of the game, already getting products added into the catalog, so we start utilizing them almost instantaneously when we ask for it. And they get it into, right now it's Labatt, that's the awarded vendor. We can start providing access to those more popular items for our students. So we've been taking advantage of that. An example of that is we served this year for Halloween, and the whole grain won't bring in a lot of those. It's a low volume item, one-time service, but we were able to just get that right on the spot. So it's extremely beneficial, especially for some of those low volume items. We do a big district bid. We do a lot of high volume, a lot of minimum shipment requirements, stuff like that. But through the cooperative, you don't have that headache. So are there questions about that?
Any questions from Ms. Hebert? Good. Okay, next we're going to move into the standard routine finance reports for November, and the standard financial reports begin somewhere. There's revenues expenses report on page 9. It shows an unassigned balance right now, fund balance of just over 50 million, which is a good sign for the district as we move forward. It will show, again, committed funds at 11.7 million, and most of that, which is 8 million, are still some of the construction costs we're incurring for Fannin and McGill. That's being paid out fairly quickly now as we end that process. And Dr. Brandon looks like he's going to say something to us.
Mr. Dindal, I was just going to point out that as we moved into the new year, we estimated 60 million to roll forward general fund, and you never know till the 13th period is over and everything settles out. But if you add those two together there at the bottom of the 3,000, that 50 million and the 11 million committed, it's actually 62 million, 62.2 million. We had 2 million that was made available through TEA, through Linebarger, and they'll be here. They couldn't be here tonight, but they'll be here next Monday night to kind of talk through that process. I think they have not been in the district for a few years, and so they'll talk a little bit about, if they appeal a property value and the comptroller makes that adjustment, when they reduce that value for our school district, then state aid takes the place of what we lost. So they were able to capture about $300 million in overestimated property value, which was a $2 million plus for the school district. So you'll see now that's been adjusted to 62.2 million fund balance.
Some really positive news for the district as we move forward. So puts us in a solid financial position to begin to continue to do projects this year.
Dr. Brandon, how long has it been since we used Linebarger?
So they've been with the district for years.
Yeah.
They have a renewal, renewed each year unless there's an issue. But last year they didn't have something to go forward with. They don't proceed or don't charge the district unless there's something that they find to actually appeal.
Oh.
I think the year before that it was about $450,000. So they're paid 10%.
So they're looking at it every year. Every year
Yes.
when they do, we do have
Yeah.
service with them. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like we hadn't used them at all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions about the fund balance? If not, we can move to page 12, which shows our standard revenues and expenses report for November. At the end of November, we've reached the first quarter, which is 25% of budget. Our revenues right now are running at to 26%. Most of that is still coming from the state. Again, the state kicks in the first portion of the year. Then the local funds pick up December, January, February, and then the state helps us finish out the year. But that's how we get our funding. But right now, mostly state is funding the operation. Our expenses right now are holding at 25.8%. So we're right in the scope of a quarter finishing up and being on budget. So some good news there. Pages 13 to 29 are our checkbook for November. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions on our checkbook. And again, about the revenues and expenses report, anybody questions on that for the first quarter? If not, page 31 begins some reports on investment reports. The monthly investment report is on page 31, which includes October 24 versus November 24. Earnings were technically about $275,000 for that month. Page 32, same amount of money, but it shows the comparison between November 23 and November 24. All solid. Interest rates have come up, so we're doing well there. And the difference is basically as we've spun down some of the fund balance, mostly for construction projects. So we have a little less that we're investing, but still strong in that report. Pages 37 to 39 is the quarterly investment report. The first report is the quarter ending comparison between November 24 and the quarter ending August 24th. Second report is the quarter ending November 24 versus the quarter ending November 23. Again, both solid reports there. Doing well. Any question on any of the investment reports? If not, page 40 is the tax collection report, and as you can see, fiscal year 24, fiscal year 23, both are going to be about zero because nobody starts paying their taxes before the next month. So we'll see a lot of activity in that report in the next couple of 3 months. as the local tax collections move forward. And then lastly, if there's not a question on that report, page 41 through 44 is our PO report for POs existing over $20,000. The bulk of that is the purchase of buses, and I'm assuming that's this year's purchases, Ms. Chenry or Dr. Brandon, that we're just now issuing the PO for?
Yes.
Yeah. Purchases we're doing this year now. We'll see a couple of those buses soon, but the others will be quite some time.
Right, kind of our typical 8-9 month on all of the yellows that we ordered.
Okay, all right. But we've got some charters that are coming pretty soon that will help us with our upcoming spring travel, is that correct?
Yes.
And they're coming in soon?
They will do, they did agree to do a wrap for us at no additional cost. So they're working, I think, with Jack on some logo for the district. And so, we're hoping January, fingers crossed.
Some good
that we'll
news for
see
sure
those
if we
come
can
in.
get those on board. So yeah, certainly make some nice travel for our kids too. A lot of spring sports going on, a lot of teams going all different directions. So that'll be a nice addition to our fleet for sure. And with that, I think that would end my report. So thank you, Dr. Kingman.
Thank you, Mr. Dindal. So we will move forward now. We do have one action item for this evening, and that's consider an interlocal agreement between Midland ISD and San Angelo ISD. And Tiffany is going to help us with that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Once again, good evening. So this is a very exciting item that we kind of touched on in September as one of our goals as a department, but since we have friends in Midland that y'all may know, we've been working closely with Ms. Helms, former director here at San Angelo ISD, and so our department is requesting approval of the proposed interlocal agreement between San Angelo ISD and Midland ISD for the purpose of cooperatively purchasing food service products in order to achieve expected savings with combined purchasing powers between our two districts. The primary benefit would be in procuring certain high-volume items utilized by both districts, creating more attractive opportunities for vendors due to the combined volume usage and the warehousing capabilities that both of our districts possess. That is unique because a lot of the districts that are in the West Texas cooperative agreement that we're a member of do not actually have warehouses. They're very small districts comparable to like Wall and Great Creek. So they're getting drop shipments as they need weekly or for whatever they can store on site, whereas we are fortunate enough to have our own warehousing and freezer space. The legal team for both districts, as well as department leaders from Midland ISD and San Angelo ISD Child Nutrition, have worked together to develop this agreement that's being presented this evening. Formal procurement processes will still be in place for this interlocal agreement, so this interlocal agreement will not bypass our standard presentation of procurement that we will have. So each opportunity will be individually presented to the board of each district for approval prior to its award. Each interlocal procurement will also have specific conditions that are individual to each procurement, such as the terms of the bid extensions, and conditions for termination by any party. Each district, upon approval from their board, may order and pay for their own products just as we normally do, so we're not bound financially to each other in that way. This is just a more attractive package for a vendor that's looking at this saying, instead of 250 cases, I'm bidding on, say, 500 cases. Districts entering into this agreement have agreed upon specifications and have provided estimates. So Michelle and I and some of our team members have been working via Zoom to kind of come up with a small list of things that we would do as our first trial procurement together. So we've already been in coordination on that, should this get approved during the board meeting. So there are options for San Angelo ISD or Midland ISD to terminate the agreement should the process no longer be beneficial for either party. So, and then please note the difference between this and the other cooperative agreements we are already members of is that this cooperative does provide savings for items shipped to single warehouse in high volume. Again, because a lot of districts are smaller, we don't get that high volume discount that we typically see whenever we do our own individualized procurement. Any questions?
This won't interfere with any other purchasing agreements that we have, right, with the,
No, we're members of several other cooperatives, choice partners, different things like that, and we're still going to be heavily participating in the West Texas Co-op. A lot of the items that we've already been communicating about are items we're actually having a hard time getting off of the cooperative agreement in high volume. So those are the items that we're focused on. The ones that we haven't really had any issues getting through the West Texas Cooperative Agreement, we'll still continue to purchase through there.
Looks like the agreement between the two districts will help us with buying power, especially in some large volume items, since we can store them and the manufacturer will, or the provider will be able to ship to a single location instead of making several stops on one truck. So it should be, as long as we can store it, we should be able to save some money if entering into this agreement. Looks like also we can cancel or back out at any time of the agreement. So
That's correct. Yes, all of that is correct. And we see that even with, like if we do quotes for trash bags, what we are getting through the cooperative versus what we can get if we can agree to a truckload, we see significant price differences in those agreements when we're willing to commit to buying, 500 cases of something versus 25. So hopefully both districts would see a cost savings based on this. It's a trial and error thing because neither district has done this before, but that's the hope for both districts.
just a comment. I mean, y'all been working on this for a while. What was her name, Teresa? That was here before?
Michelle Helms.
Michelle
Yes.
brought this up about 2 years ago, I think, trying to get a cooperative working with Midland and the other ones, Hector and all of them. But no, I mean, this is fine right here with Midland, and hopefully it goes good, and we'll get some stuff, because that's one thing she was talking about, how there were things she couldn't get here because of that. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, any other board questions or comments? Do I have a motion regarding board policy CH local?
Dr. Kingman, I'd move that we, SISD, enter into an interlocal agreement with Midland ISD for the 24-25 school year.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion from Mr. Dindal and a second from Mrs. Mizell Flint. Any other board comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say the same. Motion passes 7-0. All right. Now we're going to move forward with our proposed agenda for next week. We'll have a few recognitions, one specifically for Miss Shelley Huddleston. And then we'll go forward with some information items. Dr. Gomez will have an update on academic programs next week, and Linebarger will be here. That's 4, correct? Yeah. So then let's go through our action items. Bills, accounts, and financial statements will stay regular. Quarterly investment report will stay regular. Tiffany, since you're here tonight, you want to go ahead and talk to us about RFP 2509, and we can make that consent for next week?
Absolutely. So we're very excited for Lone Star. They have a very old serving line. And in fact, they have wood still on the back for their tray slide. I had the supervisor send me pictures of that today, just so I would have before and afters to be able to show you later. But once again, thank you for supporting us, and we would like to propose this new serving line for Lone Star Middle School. It's a dual serving line, so that means that we have 2 lines that feed together to cash registers in the shape of kind of like a V. The new serving line will be stainless steel dual line with 5 hot wells on each line. Each line will also be equipped with a frost top that they do not currently have, and that will allow to help keep the fruits and vegetables cool, or anything that they put out there, like our slushes and different things like that that we offer from time to time. Also, these new lines, what's most important being a secondary is they have a flexible front sneeze guard. And so as we install new lines in our secondaries, this is something we're moving towards that adds the flexibility as we want to move towards some self-service options that are becoming more and more popular in our industry. There's certain types of pizza that you can do pizzeria day, where kids can kind of serve their own pizzas, build your own, insert anything there bar. A very common one is a ramen bar and different things like that. In order for us to do certain things that are becoming really popular like that, the students really need to have a hand in being able to build those items. So we have equipped this line with that option. Also, this was a turnkey project, which will include the removal, the delivery, the install, and even the electrical upgrades that come with the new line. So they've already got the electrician lined out and everything for this project. The proposed timeline for the install would be over spring break, so we're not disrupting any instruction time or any time where students would be being served during the school day. And we did receive the 3 responses, as you can see in the pack. We are recommending Mission Restaurant Supply. They came in with a bid of $165,967. The bid did meet all the required specs that we asked for, and also was the lowest price proposal during that process. So we would also like to note that this is planned and budgeted for our department for this campus.
Excellent. I think she hit most of the questions. Does anyone have any further questions?
Ms. Here, do we have, is there history with Mission, with the district, or
Yes,
with other districts that we've used before?
Yes, we have purchased from Mission in the past. They frequently bid on our equipment, and they're a very reputable company and have a good reputation with our district.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any issue with making that consent? Perfect. All right, next is bid 20-014. Mr. Henry, this is just in addition to our curriculum instruction?
Yes, this is just an adder of a curriculum that the C&I department was, or actually the CTE department was wanting for a food safety program.
Any questions regarding that? Fantastic. That will also be consent. Cooperative purchasing organizations, any changes on this from last year?
No.
Okay. Any issue with that being consent? Fantastic. All right, next, bid 24-015. I feel like we're always doing radios.
This one's not a radio that you're thinking. It's an internet type radio that's beaming internet service between 2 points.
Yeah. And this is a replacement for something we already have in.
This is a bid that we normally do every year. This is the same. We usually get the last 2 or 3 times we've gotten one bid from the same person. They do a great job. Local guy.
Any questions? No? Any concerns? Consent? Dual purpose paper.
This is an exciting one. This one we did get a good amount of responses from. This is our annual bid for paper for both copiers and printers that are used throughout the district. It includes regular size paper, legal, and all the colored papers. We received 6 bids. This contract will be for 1 year with the option of 2 renewals. The administration recommends awarding this bid to Quill for all white and colored paper for the 2025 calendar year.
Mr. Henry, we've been using Quill in the past. Was it last year we used Quill?
We've used Quill the last 3 years. They've taken real good care of us coming out of COVID. I know the paper market went really crazy, and I had one of the vendors that we use for a lot of other office classroom stuff share with me that I was buying paper cheaper than his company was, and Quill held their price the entire time.
So this is 1 year with a 2-year option?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Any concerns regarding that being consent? All right, consent. Then the one, Dr. Gomez, everyone got the district calendar and Friday fax, or maybe it was a separate email. We'll make that regular, just for, I can already tell you. And who's talking about that this evening, or are we talking about?
I can give you the update. So essentially, if you'll recall, last spring, there was discussion about Memorial Day, the importance of ending prior to or not. And last year, the calendar was set, obviously, we extended beyond. But to keep this very simple and to make it easy on everyone, there are two recommendations coming in prior to Memorial Day. We don't want to extend beyond Memorial Day. It'd be great to have extra PL days for our staff, but we saw about a 10% decrease in attendance after Memorial Day, and that is not good. So anything we can do to avoid that, we'll do that. So your recommendations, really, the only difference is a day of professional learning around spring break and where that day falls. Other than that, it's the same calendar as this year.
It's the Friday or Monday, just for y'all to look at, it's just the Friday or Monday before or after spring break is, I think, the only difference.
Yeah, I think it's a Monday prior to spring break and then the Monday following spring break, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah. And there were some advantages and disadvantages to both, but yeah. So it'll be pretty simple. I don't think your job will be difficult this year. Easy.
With that, sorry, turn that off. We do need to go into executive session quickly under 551.072, which is real property, and 551.074, which are personnel matters. And we will go do that quickly and back. It is 6:55. We have returned from executive session, and we took no votes and had no actions. And with that, now that we have returned, we are now adjourned.